Where have you been? Well, past few weeks, some events have taken place. YouTube got hit with the Hulk hammer, not Hulk, Force hammer. $170+ million fine. What's good, fam? It's Brave in your GS and welcome back to the channel. Now you may be wondering, what's happened around here? What's with all these changes? Where have you been? Well, where can I start? So past few weeks, some events have taken place. YouTube got hit with the Hulk hammer, not Hulk, Force hammer. Yeah, they got hit with that hammer, fam. $170+ million fine. So, man them like copper, Children's Online Privacy Protecting Act, Builder man, 107. So, at the back of that, YouTube had to make some changes, which I had to take a seat back, hit a couple of man up, and kind of re-strategize the content that I was putting out to you. So, with that said, I'm pretty much doing the same thing as before. I mean, I was never doing stuff for the kids in the first place, but it was kind of borderline because I was kind of like teaching. So we're no longer doing that. I'm no longer teaching. I mean, you can use my drawings to learn. I mean, I'm still doing the same approach, but the only thing is I won't be focusing much on the teaching side of things. So I'm just going to bring topics like the other chat. Yeah, you know, the cybernet. Yeah, but the only thing is it's going to be my views, and I can also bring guests now. That's right. Now I'll bring people in. We will have a chat about what I'm drawing, but sometimes they don't even know what I'm drawing, so gonna be a surprise. Another thing is I will most likely bring your favorite character, which I'm pretty sure is gonna happen on this very first episode. So this is no longer called drawing with shapes, but the Sensei's way. So this will pretty much last under 20 minutes. So we're gonna have 20 minutes to discuss, pretty much kill off your character or dive into deeper subjects that I may have never spoke to you about or that you may have missed. I don't know. Now, before we do anything else in life, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video, press that bell so you get a notification every single time a video goes up. Now, without further ado, let's get down to drawing, and this is going to be a fun one. Alright, so for our first episode, I'm actually quite excited about this one because this is one of those topics that I always kind of like. I always feel some type of way. So obviously, as you can tell by the thumbnail, I'm drawing the child, aka Baby Yoda, which is something that's been, you know, trending and began crazy, took over the whole internet. Everybody's loving this character, but me being a Sith, you know what time it is. You know, when push come to shove, when the truth is supposed to be out there, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of you, man, just sucked into the matrix, innit? Like, you just Jedi mind tricked. Like, you don't see things for what they are, innit? So I'm going to give you a little bit of information on this character, and then afterwards we're going to digress onto something else, which is, you know, related to this guy as well. So So the child, Baby Yoda, is a male force sensitive being that belongs to the same species as, you know, the great Jedi Master Yoda, innit? Like, so, and that's who we're really going to be talking to afterwards, innit? So this child is pretty much born around 40 BBY. I believe that's battle of, is that the battle of what was that, BBY? I thought that would be the Battle of Yen. Is that what the Battle of Yen? I don't know. Someone jump in the comment section below and let me know. And it's held at a compound run by the Nikto mercenaries on Avalar 7 during the New Republic era. And while still an infant at the age of 50 years old, which is quite interesting because, like, we always knew Yoda was like 900 plus year old. But it's nice seeing what they look like younger. You know what I'm saying? And is sought by the Imperial, who's hired a Mandalorian bounty hunter to retrieve him. And this is where we're currently at with this character in it. So as you can see already, taking shape of this character. As usual, I use simple shapes to pretty much draw, and obviously if that's something that's going to help you draw this character in the future, if you're just interested to draw, you can use my pretty much. I've drawn this off of just looking at a picture, and I kind of just broke it down in shapes, and off that I just did the drawing. So with that said, and I hope you guys have been enjoying the Mandalorian series, because I've been loving it, and there's something that I feel that all Star Wars fans and just we just need that in our lives, innit? So going to the main topic of this year, and I know some of you are wondering like, raw, why does it look like that in the thumbnail? Why is it like it looks like a Sith? Well, you kind of got Yoda to blame for that. And then if this is one of the characters that you love, well, tough shit, because that's just how I feel about Yoda. So, and obviously this is prior to the Mandalorian. I didn't even know there was other beings such as Yoda, but someone has told me that there's someone, I think episode 5 or 6 or something, there's one of them there. All right, cool. So just a little bit of information on Yoda, who's also a force sensitive male, belonging to the mysterious species. And this is actually quite interesting, and I kind of like why they put in this child onto the show, because we're now starting to dive in more into Yoda's people. He's also was a legendary Jedi Master who witnessed the rise and fall of the Galactic Republic, followed by the rise of the Galactic Empire. All of this under his watch, but you lot still love this man, innit? Small in stature, but revered for his wisdom and power. Yoda trained generations of Jedi, which a lot of those Jedis turned into Siths. I beg you lot, start connecting the dots in it, because this is not just me. Like, I'm giving you the information, and on this information, just go back and put these things together in it. Like, so, having lived through 9 centuries, this is jokes, fam. 9 centuries of the galactic history, he played integral roles in the Clone Wars, the rebirth of the Jedi through Luke Skywalker, and unlocking the path to immortality. Fam. You get me? And that's all I'm gonna give you. That's all pretty much the information I'm gonna give you. All right. We pretty much have just under 20 minutes to go through all of this. Now, my problems with Yoda, yeah? You're bruv, you lived 9 centuries, yeah? And you saw all the rise for all these empires and the debacle of the Jedi, yeah? Because you, man, were slipping in it. Now, the thing with Yoda, I always kind of felt some type of, because I was like, right, man, you're supposed to be this wise guy, but all these things are happening right underneath your nose. And fam, you can't pick that up, yeah? Now, recently, you know me, I love my books. I've been preying more and more into Yoda. Not specifically his story, but the people around him. So let's start off with Count Dooku, yeah? Let's start off with Count Dooku, who was supposed to be the next best thing for the Jedi Council order. You get me? So he was recruited like many, is it younglings? Yeah, many younglings. It was a bit old. It was a bit old when it was found. And Count Dooku, by the name Count, is from a royal family, and his dad gave him away because he had these forces in his eyes. Dooku was seen as a freak, and as he grows, and one day they're kind of like, by the way, there's spoils in this. It's on the playlist title, so if you're going to read Dooku's book, you might want to kind of like block your ears. But yeah, so as same as Anakin, as time goes up, as he grows by, he starts to, have some sort of connection. Now, the thing is, I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. They take Dooku's back to his country, which he did, well, he knew, but he didn't know about his family. And that kind of like with the Force brings things together. And Yoda thinks is a good idea. Cool. Dooku grows up with Sifo Dyas. Shout out to Sifo Dyas, doing a lot for the Grime scene. I just love the whole thing with Sifo Dyas and Dooku in it. So like these two grow up together, they're brethrens, which by the way, when they go off to Dooku's planet, Sereno, and there's an incident there, that's when Dooku meets his sister. That's when these lot bump into an artifact, which then, if I remember correctly, Sifo Dyas slips into the dark force, and that's where he sees these visions, which then, like, these men are like, no, that doesn't exist, this doesn't happen. Fast forward a little bit after they duel, which is a tournament they're supposed to have, where they get assigned to their masters. Sifo Dyas gets picked by Master Costana, who in the long run, like, Dooku always confides in her, innit? And she was the type who was like, yo, you man, there's darkness in this place, you man need to pay attention. He's like, oh man, you're always rumbling about this, the Sith have gone, there's no such things. And then these two youths they always find themselves surrounded like in these situations. And Master Costana, she's a master, she's part of the council, but again, she doesn't listen to Yoda. Why is that? Because Yoda seems to think, like the other old heads, they seem to think that, nah, what you're saying doesn't exist, doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So, and Dooku being like, because, you got to think about, like, his friend always slips into these visions. So, them two being so close, he's concerned about his friend, which then takes him on this journey. You know what I'm saying? And he can't talk to Yoda because Yoda's stuck in his ways. You know what I'm saying? So like this, and even though Yoda does give him opportunities, which other masters, always saw these two youths as trouble. Yeah, that's cool. But the most important things you didn't pay attention to. And there's actually one saying that Dooku says, young Dooku says, like, oh, like, we're supposed to be connected to the Force, not run away from it. Something similar like that. Like, you've got a young buck, right, telling you, like, stuff from the Force, and you man are just completely ignoring it. And makes it even worse, Yoda's older. He should be wiser, but everybody falls for the wise Yoda. Yoda this, Yoda that. Fam, shut your mouth, fam. Yoda's not that wise, innit? Like, he might come, oh, yeah, I should do this. Bruv, shut your mouth, innit, Yoda? You don't know nothing, bruv. Now, enough of these men for a second. Let's just get back into the drawing. Man, like, I'm getting back into drawing. And every time I do a piece, like, it really takes me back how well things come together. And obviously, like, I know I've got experience, but I can't help but to just admire how how good it looks. You get me? Like, I know I'm not the greatest. I mean, I didn't draw for, like, God knows, like, maybe almost 10 years. But, like, come on, look at this dude. Look at him. It's sick. It's sick. And, I have to say, like, yo, well done, Raven. Guys, let me know what you think so far. But I'm just a happy chap. Now, fast forward. I finished Dooku book and I start reading Master and Apprentice with Qui-Gon Jinn and Kenobi. Now, Qui-Gon was also raised by Dooku. And by the way, Dooku leaves the order to go and deal with his family affairs because he was like, you man on the joke thing, you know what? You man's supposed to help out these people, but you just want to listen to politics, which makes it even worse for everything in life. Like, you lot are just letting politics run the Jedi Council, innit? Like, and Yoda's over here like, we should not meddle in this. We should, politicians and this and that. Fam, shut your mouth. You get me? You should be doing what's right and not what's, what feels right. You get me? What's out there. Qui-Gon comes through, right? Qui-Gon was under Dooku. He was Dooku's Padawan. Now, the thing with Qui-Gon is, Qui-Gon has his own ways. And I think this is something that the Jedi kind of like always really struggled, because you lot just want to take kids and kind of like ignore their characteristics in it, like the way they are as beings, you know what I'm saying? Like, you lot just want everybody to just buy into this Jedi way and forget that at the end of the day, they are beings living through the Force in it. Like, and even the Force sometimes does what it does, just like nature in it. Like, nothing is certain. But you, man, want to put like rules and groundies, man, and stuff like that. So there's a particular part in the book that got me mad. Again, spoilers. They sent out Qui-Gon on this mission with a young Kenobi, and there is these people who, obviously, just like corporations, there's loopholes around certain things, and these men are like incarcerating people for life and using them as labor. Fam, that is slavery. And obviously, like, he's not saying, we have slaves, but in other words, like, you become slaves, innit? Like, if you're incarcerated for the rest of your life and all you can do is work for me for free, fam, you're a slave. Cool. So there's in this contract, and it also says forever. So that means this company, it's out there doing whatever they want forever. If they sign this treaty, fam, I can do whatever I want in this planet, and no one can tell me nothing because it's in the contract. Now, Qui-Gon comes, is called up to these missions. He finds out, and he's like, "Raw, I gotta take this to the council." You get me? Like, this is not right. And he's the one representing the council. So he takes the man. Yo, just like, what? Do you want to write the rules? Do you want to do this? Like, fam, this is wrong. Like, this is slavery. You know what I'm saying? And Yoda, like, twists things around by, like, trying to make Qui-Gon look like he's just doing things, he's just being a reckless. But the matter of fact is, fam, wrong is wrong. Like, regardless, you sent me here to represent you, man, to the best of my abilities. Whether the way I go on about it, you agree with it or not, you sent me over here. Now, I'm telling you, these men are finessing this contract, but you just want to just give it to these politicians and kind of like put it on Qui-Gon that, what, like, do you want to be a ruler? Do you want to set the rules? You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be like peace keepers, but you're going to completely ignore this contract. Now, they kind of like amend things, but the problem is still there. You know what I'm saying? Now, we already gone through Count Dooku, Qui-Gon, right? And then this is a whole ripple effects that's happening around Yoda. Remember, Dooku was Yoda's Padawan. You get me? So this whole ripple effect starts with this man. But like, everybody's so blind and like just buying into this guy. Oh, look here, going to the Speed Force painting in. I hope you guys enjoyed those Sith eyes I got there just for you guys, isn't it? Like, for all those sensitive ones. Oh no, Yoda would never be like that. You can't. Shut your mouth, fam. Shut your mouth. Yoda might as well have been part of Palpatine's plan, bro, because he was just over here just moving like, Palpatine was his puppeteer master. Get me? So you've got those two guys. Roll on to Anakin. Oh my days, fam. From day dot, Qui-Gon brings these you man are saying, yo, this dude is too old. There's too much conflict in him. Like, Qui-Gon dies, you give him to Obi-Wan, who's still, although Obi-Wan's always been mad wise from younger days when he never used to get along with With Qui-Gon, this dude was just on point with everything he did. Now, you letting this kid, right, and many times it's been referenced, like, he's too close to politics. He's a young youth, right? Then you go and ask him to, like, move on some next ways. Then you wonder why he turns around and murks all the younglings. Fam, all of this, I blame it on Yoda. I've been saying this from time. I'ma keep saying it, and the more I find out about this guy, it just reinforces my arguments about Yoda, innit? It's gonna be interesting how Baby Yoda is gonna turn out in The Mandalorian. So far, I'm really enjoying this you running around with The Mandalorian. Get me? So here you go, bang. My Sith, Baby Yoda, you get me? Like, look at that. Man has to give her, you know, some nails, you know, bring in the little force a bit more. But I'm very pleased with this drawing. I hope you're pleased with it too. And again, you know, it's always fun in games. I did tell you I was going to kill off this character. Guess what? You can't give me a disclaimer. I'm not on the Cypher Nerds. So I hope you guys enjoyed this week. It's good to be back. Feel free to write your views in the comment section below, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. As usual, as always, appreciate you, man, for being here. And by the way, we now have Patreon. As you know, times are really hard now. Listen, it's getting peak out there to get content out. Go ahead and head over to Patreon. Show your boys some love and support. And see you next time. Peace.